The Steam Deck is a PC. I personally call it a console, but it is a PC because you can press the Steam button and switch to desktop mode, something that you can't do with the Xbox or the PlayStation or the Nintendo Switch or pretty much any console that has ever existed. That said, it isn't something that you'd end up doing very often, or I guess that I should say it isn't something that I do very often. My point is that Valve made something that is kind of a middle ground between the PC and the console. And for me, someone that spent years playing only PC games and then years playing only console games, and now these days I play games on pretty much everything. The middle ground where it feels like a console, but I have the ability to do what I want with the device that I paid for is pretty amazing. In fact, I don't think that I can say it better than Gabe said himself in this interview with IGN.
The openness of the PC ecosystem is the superpower,
Yeah.
right? That we all collectively benefit from. So if you want to install the Epic Game Store on here, if you want to, run an Oculus Quest on it, those are all great. Those are features, right?
Yeah.
That's what I want to hear as a gamer. I don't want to hear that somebody's got some Trojan horse that's going to try to lock me down. I want to hear whatever I want to do. If there's hardware I want to attach to it, if there's software I want to install, I can just go and do it. We think that's great.
Now, that is not the only time that Valve has pointed out that it's a PC, because in interviews, they're always calling it a PC. For example, when Valve was interviewed by PC Gamer back in 2021, they were asked about the deck, and then they were asked specifically about exclusives for the Steam Deck, and their answer was perfect. They said, "That doesn't make much sense to us. It's a PC, and it should play games like a PC." So there you have it. It's a PC, but it's a console as well. And I'm going to keep calling it a console because that's what it feels like to me. I think it's a new hybrid category, something that we haven't really had before. The lines between the PC and the console are blurring. And even though the distinction between console and PC is blurry, it is an important distinction. And it seems like Valve is not the only ones, and they're certainly not going to be the last company to make a quote-unquote blurry device like the Steam Deck. In a recent podcast, Jez Corden was talking about the next Call of Duty game and if it was going to be launching in 2026 along with new hardware from Microsoft, and he said that currently no dev kits exist for the next Xbox, which is currently rumored to come out in sometime in the next 2 years. A little bit of context. Jez Corden is an executive editor over at Windows Central, and he has leaked plenty of things in the past. Of course, we're not looking at official information right now, but I think he's pretty reliable as far as leaks go. At least the things that I've seen him say, most of the time they do end up checking out, for the most part. But this idea that the next Xbox doesn't have dev kits, that's kind of a big deal, and it's time for more context. Now, if you're already familiar, feel free to skip ahead, or if you have an attention span longer than my cat, don't skip ahead. Stick around and let me know if I screw anything up. Dev kits are essentially custom-built PCs that hardware manufacturers give developers. That's how you get the dev in the kit, but these PCs are custom-built so that the devs can make games for very specific hardware. No dev kit, no games, at least in the console space. And a perfect example of this is, have you ever noticed that there isn't a PS5 version of Minecraft? That's because Sony refused to provide dev kits to Mojang, I don't know how you're supposed to say it, because they didn't want proprietary information to get back to Microsoft, Mojang's parent company.
Allegedly.
So, if the next Xbox is coming out in the next 2 years, and typically dev kits come out about 18 to 24 months before new hardware, well, it should happen anytime soon, and if not, what the hell is going on? Some people might jump to conclusions.
You see, it would be this mat that you would put on the floor and would have different conclusions written on it that you could jump to.
No, not like that. Some people might assume that no dev kits mean that the next Xbox isn't going to come at all. Perhaps Microsoft is throwing in the towel on hardware. I mean, they've given up on exclusives, right? Well, Yes, they've given up on exclusives, but I think it's for a different reason. Jez Corden went on to say the whole idea of the next Xbox is that it's going to be a PC in essence, but with a TV-friendly shell that also has a specific set of specs in mind. So developers will be building for a Windows PC in a way, but in such a way that they know exactly what the specs are going to be. That sounds very familiar to me. Look at the Steam Deck. It's a PC with a known set of hardware that devs can target and customize for. A perfect example of this is Cyberpunk 2077. They made a Steam Deck profile that gets auto-detected when you run the game on a Steam Deck, though I would say that personally, I think that their bespoke profile leaves a little bit to desire, and you should still customize it yourself in order to get the best results.
It stinks.
Now, the Steam Deck does have a dev kit, and if Jez Corden is right here, then we should be seeing those dev kits coming from Microsoft at some point really soon. Though if Microsoft is just a PC, they won't be needed, as the games will just run like most games do on Steam Deck by letting users make adjustments to the settings based on their preferences and making sure that their games are scalable. You know, the things that devs already do on PC, because get this, the dev kit for PC is just a PC. Now, this is not the first time we've heard this idea of the next Xbox just being a PC. In fact, we heard it from head of Xbox Phil Spencer himself in the past. He said this: "Consider our history as Windows. No one would blink twice if I said, hey, when you're using a PC, you get to decide what type of experience you have by picking where you buy the games. There's real value in that." That was in response to rumors that the Xbox might someday let you buy games and play them on an Xbox from other stores. This sounds an awful lot like what Gabe said earlier.
The openness of the PC ecosystem is the superpower,
Yeah.
right, that we all collectively benefit from.
And this isn't new language from Phil Spencer. Back in 2018, he said this on the Game Awards.
Because when everybody plays, we all win.
So Valve has paved the way for blurry PC console hybrids, and it looks like Microsoft is following in their footsteps. And it makes a lot of sense, at least to me, especially when you consider that they've lost the last two console generations in a row. Making the next Xbox, the next console from them, more like a PC is compelling, especially if it has a console-like interface, which is my one gripe with Windows right now. This is why Microsoft is walking away from exclusivity, and another thing that Valve has said doesn't really make a lot of sense. Exclusivity is bad for gamers. It doesn't help. It only hurts. I want everyone to be able to play the games that they want to play wherever they want, with whoever they want, and on whatever hardware they want. That's when everyone wins. Spencer said, if I want to play on a gaming PC, then I feel like I'm part of a continuous part of a gaming ecosystem as a whole, as opposed to on console gaming, gaming is kind of shared, to use the gaming term, based on these different closed ecosystems. That sure sounds like somebody that wants to put out a piece of hardware that is open so that end users can use it the way that they want to use it. And if they can nail the UX on top of that, well, I'll simply say,
Shut up and take my money.
And I'm not brand loyal here either. I don't care if Valve does it first or if Microsoft does it first. Whoever gives me the console experience with the ability to play my Steam library and other PC games on my TV using a controller and only a controller, that's the one that I'm going to buy. So the race is on. Valve has launched a new market of PC handhelds, and now somebody needs to put that magic into a box for the TV, and whoever it is, they're the ones that are going to win. From the NerdNest, I'm Bill. Thanks for watching, and check out this video next. Stay rad, everyone.